Eddie Vedder's wife used to have a band. I think it was called Flight to Mars. She was playing guitar. I think it was a power trio. We had drums and bass and no vocals. And what they would do is just jam in front of a screen where they were projecting NASA images of space and rockets and stuff. It seems a little redundant. I mean, when MTV first started, they didn't have enough material. And so they would play these NASA, public domain clips. And then, of course, they had the famous image of the astronaut planting the MTV flag. So anyway, I think I saw this band more than once. Once might have been at the Crocodile Cafe, which is a shitty dive owned by a shitty person that paid minimum wage to people because her workers thought, oh, it's so cool, I'm in the music business. And it's ridiculous. Anyway, hello, this is Alex, host of the Doomed Planet podcast, and I'm pleased to announce that you are listening to episode 114 episodes. Goodspaceguy shoots for the moon.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 6, 8, 9, 10,
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Yes, he's back. The only politician that returns my phone calls, or the only politician I've ever called. We've got an interview at the end of this episode with Goodspaceguy, and I'm going to be liberally editing that episode, or that segment. I'm going to get creative with it. And, he's a space cadet, and his libertarian right-wing talk, it just gets boring, but I'm going to try to do something fun with it. What we are going to cover first, real quick, is the August 6th, 2024 primary election here in King County. Two things before we dive into this voter's guide full of awful people and their false statements. It looks like Kamala Harris is going to be the Democratic nominee for president. She, of course, is a cop. She was the district attorney of San Francisco. District attorneys work with cops to put people in prison, if you don't know. And then she became Attorney General of California. And you don't have to dig too far to look at all the awful things she did during her career as a cop. She also got no votes or no delegates when she ran in 2020 for president. And there was no primary this year for either party. Democrats skipped that. And so no one has ever, no one voted for her. She was handpicked by the powers that be. It's a disaster. Trump wins. We already knew that. Although J.D. Vance, interesting fraud and weasel without Trump's charm or political instincts. That was a bad choice. So we'll see. I want to endorse Sean Scott, running for State House of Representatives in the 43rd District. That's not my district. He's running against... Now, Sean is he's very tall and very smart and pure progressive. He is truly a left-wing progressive. He was, I believe, the state of Washington's head guy for the Bernie Sanders campaign. And he's going to win. He's running against, this is the primary still, he's running against Andrea Suarez, who is the leader of We Heart Seattle, an hate group, right-wing hate group funded by right-wing forces that uses homeless people, who exploits homeless people to raise money. And then, they're all about sweeps and cleaning up the filth, and it's a disgrace. I also want to mention that we have 4 dogs upstairs at Doom Planet World headquarters, and there are 2 flies in the recording studio here. I've got a ping pong paddle and a rubber band. It's one of 2 living things that I will willingly kill. One is a mosquito. Second is a housefly. If it's in the house, no harm done, except maybe to my Buddhist credentials. And also, I'm depriving a spider of a meal, but they've got plenty of meals around here. Okay, let's dive in. A lot of fucking losers are in the primary running for United States Senator this time around. Mel Rahm prefers Republican Party. Gibberish. Her statement is all gibberish. The stories laboring to preserve our national security begin in a multiplex link to black mold. Currently, okay, so that's a Goodspaceguy level of crazy. Dr. Raul Garcia, he's an osteopath. That's like a doctor, but with less college. Fentanyl is an extremely dangerous drug. The trend with all of these people in this voter guide is tough on crime, crack down on fentanyl. David Tilton prefers the nonpartisan party. Empowering, went to the Art Institute of Seattle. That doesn't exist anymore because it was a nationwide scam of for-profit colleges. And I'm sure I've said this before on one of our previous 113 episodes, but I've been to a lot of art shows. The worst art show I ever went to was at the Art Institute of Seattle, and that was the faculty show. David Tilton is dedicated to improving law enforcement. Fuck, of course he is. Maria Cantwell, there should be term limits for senator. What, a 6-year term? How about that? Maybe 2 6-year terms. I've always been irritated with Maria Cantwell. She, before becoming a senator, she kind of glommed onto this early.com scam known as Real Networks, and she made a fortune when they had an IPO. And I challenge anyone to tell me what Real Networks ever did. Some kind of streaming audio something. Oh, prescription drugs cost too much. So again, Maria, you've had a long time in there to kind of get she's going to codify Roe versus Wade. Really, how long have you had to push that? Chuck Jackson of the Independent Party. No elected experienced typo. Not beholden to special interest groups. No. He's licensed by the Coast Guard as a ship engineer. Okay. And he has a website where you can go look at his half-baked theories. Isaac Holyoke prefers Republican Party. Elected experience, none. I am not a politician. Okay, well, that's the first lie. You are in a fucking voter's guide. You are a politician. He's a Microsoft certified software developer. The country is being invaded and is no longer safe. Henry Clay Dennison prefers Socialist Workers' Party. Okay, he's a railroad conductor, a union member. Joined actions against anti-Jewish attacks. All right, so you have to throw the Zionism in there because I was about to like you. Oh, Vladimir Putin's murderous invasion of Ukraine. Joint efforts to defend Jews from attack. Okay. The last anyone is going to hear of you is if they listen to this podcast, and no one listens to this podcast. Scott Nazarino, running for senator, prefers Republican Party. He's a precinct committee officer in Sammamish. He's in the financial services industry. As your U.S. Senator, I will focus my efforts on these three areas. First, to protect our children at school by installing National Guardsmen or other offices at every elementary school. I'm proud to say that the Seattle school system, Seattle Public Schools, it's a disaster, but they do not have cops in schools here. School resource officers, as they might be called. Paul Lawrence Gazik prefers the Democratic Party. He's not a career politician and will not serve more than 2 terms. He's not going to serve any terms, but yeah, term limits. How about 1 term, 1 6-year term? He's a machinist in the aerospace industry. And his statement, our Lord Jesus Christ is... Okay. Tor Amundsen prefers independent party. He has no elected experience. Other professional experience. Watching C-SPAN for 30 years. Okay, you and me both, buddy, but I'm not humiliating myself by running for senator. I would definitely come up with a better, mission statement. Overreach of Citizens United, and of course the important thing here, if you're representing Washington in the U.S. Senate, make C-SPAN more entertaining. And then we have Goodspaceguy. This is his 25th year on the ballot. He's run for every office, including governor. I think this U.S. Senate, that's the most powerful position he could hold, is being one of 2, the junior senator from Washington State. There's no reason to read his... he's a libertarian leaning toward the wacko colonized space bullshit. And his mission statement, he's not really trying anymore. I asked him about this. It's just copied and pasted from last time and the time before that. Okay, United States House of Representatives, Congressional District 1, Orion Webster is a right-wing cop committed to protecting the rights of the unborn. Mary Silva also prefers Republican Party, is a conspiracy kook. Has worked at Microsoft. But complete gibberish in the guide there. Derek Chartrand prefers the calm, rational GOP party. President of Washington Trucking Association. Campaigning and driving part-time for Uber the last 6 years. Okay. Susan Del Bene prefers Democratic Party. She's a real person here. Former Microsoft executive, director, Washington State Department of Revenue. She has real credentials. There was too much chaos in Congress, too much angry shouting. Okay, fair enough. Matt Heines prefers Trump Republican Party. Experience, junior class president of Squim Schools. He's in the U.S. Army, 82nd Airborne, and Oman Ministry of Education. He's the author of I Fought the Deep State and I Won. And he's also a Bigfoot nut. He produced a movie called Cascade Bigfoot Blood Mystery Series. I'm sorry, that's a book. Jeb Brewer prefers Republican Party. Frustrated citizen who will make a difference, not a career politician. Okay, that's more honest than saying I'm not a politician. America has become a service economy, and we are not producing products. We are not creating the jobs and wealth. Okay, and he's an active volunteer at his church. That's fine. I mean, that guy's not as much of a kook as these other assholes, but this is serious business, you know, House of Representatives representing Washington. Dan Alexander prefers Republican Party. Engineering leader at a large commercial airplane company. It's a mystery what company that would be. He went to RPI, a great school, and the great goal of our Congress is to reach fundamental agreement on emerging issues while nurturing... This is like Clinton-esque, just bullshit. And, of course, the winner of the primary, nice lady. I got some issues with her, Pramila Jayapal. In general, doing a good job. Again, is she on the squad? Like, she's not a progressive. She's just another neoliberal Democrat, but she leans more left than all the other assholes. I'm sorry, we jumped to Congressional District 7. We got Liz Hallock. America's role as a global leader has been diminished by autocrats in China. I believe Taiwan, Israel, and Ukraine have a right to exist. Okay, a bunch of Zionist stuff there. Cliff Moon is a Republican. He has 61 years of experience in the construction trades. Okay, he's frustrated. Our moral compass has been displaced. The costs have gone up. My dad was an employee at the State Department. Okay. Melissa Chaudhry prefers Democratic Party. Incumbents' top donors are AIPAC and bomb makers. Okay. She's anti-Zionist. All right, we're down with her. Paul Martin. I am not an incumbent. This is my first run at a national office. Really? He's a software engineer. God, well, I've never heard of that around these parts. Oh, he's anti-trans. That's nice. Passing laws so girls and women can feel safe and comfortable again in XX chromosome-designated bathrooms. Fucking piece of shit. Incredible. People are humiliating themselves. Like, this voter guide is forever, right? Okay, here's a wacko running Congressional District 9. David Ishii prefers bipartisan party. Elected experience. David Ishii, call sign, Galloping Ghost, DJ Radio, Dave, E Pluribus Unum, UBI, 1800, Universal Basic Income, Quran, Torah, Gideon's Bible. If that don't straighten out one's putter, Titans, Goliath, Titans, Goliath, please keep your mind out of the gutter. It's incredible. Okay, as far as like just AI generated gibberish, this guy, David Ishii, wins. Mark Green prefers Republican Party. Today's radicals are soft on crime, but intolerant to traditionalism.
And now a word from our sponsor.
Using crack and cocaine to get high, that's what you say you love. But it's really insane. You could die. What are you thinking of? 'Cause nobody's needing that crack and cocaine. There's terrible trouble behind it. And sooner or later you're burning your brain, making a mess of your mind.
So much tough on crime stuff from both Democrats and Republicans. Adam Smith, the winner for District 9, is going to win the primary and the general. He's a U.S. representative, incumbent, and went to University of Washington. He wants Medicare for all. So there you go. Now for governor, we got good old Jay Inslee is old and in the way. And we got one legitimate candidate for governor and then a bunch of fucking fucknuts. Jim Daniel prefers the Republican Party. First, be tough on crime. And second, be tough on the causes of crime. Tough McGruff, the crime dog, Jim Daniel McGruff.
McGruff here. See that guy? He's stealing that bike. Now, see that lady? She's calling the cops. Mimi Marth, part of the Eyes and Ears Patrol in Hartford, Connecticut. There's 126 of them, regular people, working together to help prevent crime. You know, you could do that. Find out how. Write to Box 6600, Rockville, Maryland. You'll be helping to take a bite out of crime.
Cassandra Magdalene Hansen prefers Democratic Party. Community service, none. Have always been too busy working, but at this point in my life, I'm prepared to be part of serving the community. She spells Patty Murray wrong here. And then, of course, tough on crime. Harsher laws for drug dealers, peddlers, and addicts need to be put in place.
Take a bite out of crime.
Also running for governor of Washington State in the primary, Jeff Curry with a cowboy hat. Prefers the Independent Party, but he's a member of the Fed Up Party. He's a master horseman. He's got a YouTube URL if you want to type that in. And, of course, as a school bus driver, I've seen the dangers of fentanyl on school buses. No, the fuck you haven't. Alex Scissorman prefers the Stand Up America Party. His professional experience: I have had business consultant experience with multiple companies. Now, why wouldn't you be proud of that and list specific companies? Master in engineering and management from who knows where, I don't know. Living under in Soviet Union fascism in King County, Seattle fascist government. Okay, freak. Mark Mullet running for... Someone vandalized my voter guide here and drew a mullet on this guy. Normal-looking, middle-aged white guy. State senator, 2012 to the present. Okay, that's a real... he owns and operates a pizza restaurant and 4 ice cream shops. So he owns 4 Ben & Jerry's, corporate ice cream shops. And, of course, Ben & Jerry's is owned by food giant, food conglomerate Unilever. Went to Indiana University. Okay. He's a member of the board member of the Issaquah Food Bank. That's okay. During my time in the Senate, I have pushed back on both the extreme right and extreme left. Okay. He wants to improve public safety, so pro-cop. And he's endorsed by Seattle Council President Sarah Nelson, alcoholic brewery owner and right-wing psychopath pretending to be a Democrat.
People always ask me what kind of Democrat I am. I'm a dad of 6, a small business owner, and a state senator. I'm Mark Mullet. I'm the kind who wants to bring down housing costs, lower crime, and keep illegal drugs illegal. Lower crime and keep illegal drugs illegal.
Martin Lee Wheeler prefers the Republican Party. He will provide full support to police and military personnel. Also running for governor. So many freaks. Jennifer Hoover. She fought against pornographic content in school reading material. Andre Stackhouse prefers the Green Party. It's like a nice, bald young man. Editor-in-chief of the Daily at University of Washington. Coach at the Rain City Fencing Center. Okay, open source software development. Okay, I got nothing bad to say about that dude. Elona Kearney prefers Democratic Party. Junior Vice Commander of the Army, U.S. Army. That's military intelligence in the Army. Wow, so that's a cop. She's a forgiveness coach, and she went to Evergreen State College. Rick Anthony prefers Democratic Party. Elected experience. Ricky Anthony deeply understands it. It's bullshit. Professional experience. 5 years of diplomatic involvement with the U.S. Embassy. Huh? He holds a Bachelor of Science in Criminal Justice Administration from, we're not sure where, okay? Fergus McDouglason. Fergus McDouglason. Okay. He's a cop. No, okay, Bob Ferguson. He's going to win the primary and the general. Prefers Democratic Party. He's a fucking cop.
50th, dead last. Washington has the lowest number of law enforcement officers per capita of any state. That's unacceptable. As governor, I'll fix it.
As governor, Bob's top priority is improving public safety. He'll hire more police officers.
Public safety is my top priority. I'll hire more police. I'll hire more police.
Why does he have to pivot to the right on this stuff? Like, with such an easy win ahead of him against an actual cop.
Create a statewide response unit to tackle the fentanyl crisis and invest the $1 billion I won from drug companies to increase treatment. Washingtonians must feel safe and be safe for our state to thrive.
Chetan Inman prefers Democratic Party. Elected experience. I am not a politician, luckily. I worked a software developer at Meta, grew neurons that played computer games at Cortical Labs. Okay, as a governor, I will give the earth rights. Finally, let's address the elephant in the room, okay? You think I am not as qualified as Bob Ferguson? Yes? Well, you're right. Yes, I know. The last thing we need is another old politician as governor, repeating the same complacency. Okay, fair enough. I agree. Michael DePaula prefers the Libertarian Party. He's a Seventh-day Adventist. Okay. Or he went to a Seventh-day Adventist high school. And, of course, McGruff, tough on crime, rough on crime, McGruff, Dave Reichert.
As sheriff, I arrested rioters, rapists, and mass murderers.
Dave Reichert, as you know, is the King County Sheriff who spent 20 years not finding the Green River Killer.
On my watch, everyone was accountable.
Then when he was finally caught, he stepped in to take credit and step into the limelight. Complete chud, complete right-wing hater and cop. Don Rivers prefers Democratic Party. Pro-choice. Okay. Housing, mental health, and drug rehab services. All right, Don Rivers. I like you. Jim Clark. No party preference. He's he's like a bitter divorced guy. All his statement here is about child support reforms. Okay. Fred Grant prefers Democratic Party. Passionate about Washington. Okay. Leon Lawson prefers Trump Republican Party. The rot and abuse within state agencies are about beyond imagination. How many fucking people are running for governor in this primary? Edward Cale IV. He started the Freedom Project in elementary school when he was in 3rd grade. He has a BA with an emphasis on multicultural counseling. He doesn't list where that BA was awarded from. He doesn't like welfare and whatever. Frank Dare. Education, a bachelor's, we don't know from where. There's a good typo. He's going to reduce drug use. William Combs, Independent Party. Formerly homeless Navy veteran. Corruption of the Founding Fathers, Constitution. Okay, bullshit. Alan Makiev prefers the Nonsense Busters Party. Okay. Came to the U.S. to study Oriental and naturopathic medicine, but only had $200, which wasn't enough. Worked 9-day weeks, saved money, bought a house. Imagine a future where issues like crime, squatters, drug abuse, homelessness, and skyrocketing prices are gone. Hiring thousands of cops will not stop the crime. It never did before. All right, fair enough, bro. I like it. All right. Damn, this never ends. Brian Bogan, nonpartisan party, went to the University of Washington. He was an Eagle Scout. I don't know if that's a warning sign. It is for many things, maybe not for a politician. I mean, Washington, D.C. is filled with like former class presidents and Eagle Scouts and people like that. A.L. Brown prefers Republican Party, is a Bible guy. Rosetta Marshall Williams prefers Independence Party. Education, continuing education. That's your degree is in continuing education? From where? Descendant of Chief Justice John Marshall. I am born into the U.S. Constitution as jazz was born in the USA. Okay, fair enough. As governor, I will direct an estimated $1.5 trillion toward investment in economic relations with Africa. Okay, that dollar figure seems a little unusual. Finally, Semi-Bird prefers Republican Party. Whatever. I suppose no one wants to hear my opinions about who is running for insurance commissioner and whatnot. So just really quick, Seattle City Council position 8. We want to endorse Alexis Mercedes Rink. Assistant Director of Policy, Planning, and State Operations for University of Washington. Went to Syracuse University. Born to teenagers caught up in gang violence and cycles of substance use. She wants affordable housing and progressive revenue solutions. Proudly endorsed by unions and a bunch of other people. So vote for her. And now what you've all been waiting for, Goodspaceguy. And this is the return of Goodspaceguy, because I interviewed him in October of 2021, episode number 39 of the Doom Planet podcast, Spacing Out with Goodspaceguy. I don't remember what office he was running for at the time, and it really doesn't matter.
Hello, Alex.
Hello. So do you prefer to be called Mr. Nelson or Goodspaceguy, or what should I call you?
Well, I legally added Goodspaceguy to my name, but I frequently go by the nickname Space Guy. So I think the Space Guy would be the best.
Okay, Space Guy. You're running for Senate.
U.S. Senate.
And that is, now you've been running for, is this your
This is 25th time.
Okay, and Senate, that's the most important position in the state, I would think.
Oh, I'd say governor.
Governor, okay. And who are you endorsing for governor? I can guess who.
I haven't decided yet. I've been reading the voters pamphlet, and there were 30 people who filed. 2 withdrew, leaving 28. So I'm carefully looking at the voters' information in the pamphlet on the 28 remaining. And I'm considering all 28. So I can't answer that question.
Okay.
Because I want to get the person I think who has the best program for Washington State.
Okay, yeah, my only opinion or thought is that the Democrat, Bob Ferguson, has this tough on crime approach. So he's kind of, Dave Reichert, obviously a former cop, sheriff. Bob Ferguson is trying to pivot to be tough on crime.
There are statements and there are actions. Yeah. So the actions might say he should look at himself. So he has a critic who he may not have been treating fairly.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. Okay, so back to the Senate. It's pretty much Maria Cantwell is favored in the polls. Do you have any specific thoughts about her and why you might do a better job than this person? Like there should be term limits. Do you agree?
I think term limits are a good idea for getting better government.
Yeah, because she's been in there for a long time. What, 20 years or more? And
it's been a career.
Yeah. So.
And some of the things that I think are important, she's not addressing. She's a big spender, and I'm a small spender. So the voters generally favor the big spenders. Usually the voters vote for the biggest spenders. And then they wonder why the taxes are so high.
Right.
And it's just in the nature of the bigger spenders to require bigger taxes.
Yeah, so your political position has pretty much stayed the same over the years. Like your description in the voter guide is pretty similar to the last time. You're basically, forgive me if I get this wrong, you're a libertarian leaning, Republican leaning candidate.
Yes, so I feel that I'm a defender of the free market. I'm an advocate of the free market. The free market system is the best system for raising the living standard. I want to advocate a better U.S. space program in which we move towards orbital space colonization. Do you know any consumers?
Yeah, my family. We have to go to the grocery store and consume.
So the consumers are like everyone.
Right.
So we can say that almost everyone is a consumer. So the best system for we, the consumers, the best system is the competitive free market. And I stress competitive. I'm not a professional economist. So on the currency that's best to be the international currency, I like the U.S. currency being the world trade currency. The Nazis hated the Jews.
Yeah.
And so they murdered many Jews.
Yes.
The Muslims hate the Jews, so the Muslims murder many Jews.
Okay. Any Jews murdering Muslims that you've heard about?
I think...
I say that jokingly because obviously you read the newspaper, right, and you see what's happening.
Usually I read the Seattle Times every day.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm a reader of the Seattle Times. His signs in the windows of my van, and my van got vandalized time after time after time, time after time after time.
Okay, everybody, I apologize. There's another half hour of me talking to Goodspaceguy, and there's just nothing new happening. He has nothing interesting to say. Same old libertarian talking points. He's not going to become the junior senator from Washington. He won't survive the primary. And guess what? He'll be on the ballot next time, no doubt. Okay, that's it. Doom Planet, the podcast. Goodspaceguy shoots for the moon. riding in a capsule with McGruff, the crime dog. And we're going to leave you here with a song about Bob Ferguson. It's been a painful episode. If you're one of the very few people that has listened to the entire thing, thank you. We'll see you next time. Goodbye.
I have no idea what he's about to do. Just so we're all clear. This is my cousin Jim.
All right, hello. I hope you like this, Bob. I'm going to take a old classic Bob Dylan tune. Got a B right here, sorry. And have some fun with it and kind of change it into a Bob Ferguson campaign song. For those of you who have followed Bob's political career through the years, you know that he's always run grassroots, people-powered campaigns, and is particularly well known, almost famously, for going out and knocking on people's doors, like a lot of people's doors. And so that's kind of the theme of this song right here. So hope you like it. Well, it all started back in 2003. Bob made a run for the council of King County. He looked at Colleen and said, I've got a strategy. Let's start knocking on people's doors. Knock, knock, knocking on people's doors.
Find out more at doomedplanet.com. Goodbye.
Been friends since the K, but lately these days we always be drinking them tweets, I may say. They make us laugh a lot, but when we wake up, we be in a parking lot. We don't know how we got there, so we call our friend Johnny. We hop in the car, but it stink like damn salami. Joey say, yo, Johnny, where the fuck your mommy? He start talking about some, she left when I was 6. He stopped the fucking car, and he pulls out a fucking blick. We all like, what the fuck? We tryna leave the scene, but while we slide out, we thinking, fuck, we go get seen. What the fuck? We get back to the crib, we're sweating and stressing because our dear friend Johnny was so depressing. He tried to take our lives after one fucking whipping session.
5, 6, 7, 8. Goodbye, this is it.